It is time for the second episode of the always ever-present favorite series, Subtractem's weekly Reddit news Path of Exile recap. Name pending. Trademark. Where what I do is I just find a number of interesting posts that were the top Reddit posts and other news too, not just Reddit. And we'll just talk about it, a little reflection on that, little deeper thoughts on this. Sometimes it's just gonna be looking at fun items and stuff like that. But there's been a little bit of news in the past week, and we'll get to it. If you go to top posts in the last week on Reddit, this is the #1 post. When people ask me about PoE, I send them this screenshot. This perfectly encapsulates Path of Exile. Not only is it ridiculous with the number of auras, the number of the game mechanics, it's got the latency and the FPS looking like the Rocky Mountains. They're in the middle of a blight map. They got they got all a bunch of Herald of Ash explosions and everything. They're doing a blight in the middle of a breach. They're doing group play with supports and everything. Not only all of that, but the name of the Hierophant is Fondle My Scro Totem. I want to make sure everyone sees the name of this Hierophant. Fondle My Scro Totem. Very important to the culture of Path of Exile is a based punny name that is edgy for a 14-year-old. Literally no one knows everything that's actually happening on the screen, and that's okay. I love this picture. I like, what's Path of Exile? That. Chris, in 3.19, we just saw this in the interview with Josh Strife Hayes. Chris just said that 3 old and not so old leagues will be reworked and improved. We could speculate across the world, everything from Talisman to Synthesis to, who knows, Ultimatum, right? He looked at that as like an opportunity to, sneak in, hey, here's a little teaser, getting ready for the announcement of the teaser, the announcement of the teaser. And he snuck that in the interview there. So that was very much on purpose. There was a patch. This was yesterday. This is weird, right? So if you don't know, currently, I don't know if the patch got pushed yet, but currently, at least before that patch, Stream of Consciousness says your maps cannot be modified by fragments, which is really, really annoying when you want to put in a Divine Vessel and get the upgrade there. However, Divine Vessel is a fragment, right? Divine Vessel is a fragment. It goes in the fragment tab, counts as a fragment, and due to the wording, Divine Vessel should not work. What I would do, right? Like my solution here would have been have a little pop-up message. If you put in a fragment and it says you have Stream of Consciousness, fragments will be ignored, right? Just a little thing. Fragments will be ignored. These will not work, right? I think it's okay and consistent, better in terms of long-living game systems to not special case things like this. That is how you get spaghetti code. It is objectively the wrong decision for game design. Now, they may remove Stream of Consciousness and they just delete that code anyway. But in terms of like, if I was at GGG, I would hard push against this change because special cases should be like #1 thing on the PR review should be do not allow special cases. So I think just a pop-up would be the right thing, and just a warning because one orbital of unmaking just to undo it, do it, no big deal. Better to avoid special cases because that leads to even more confusion. Like, hey, Stream of Consciousness doesn't work with fragments unless it's a Divine Vessel. Hey, what if it doesn't work with fragments unless it's a sacrifice fragment? Unless, and as soon as you get all of those special cases, you get spaghetti code and everything gets super crazy, and it's just bad design. Cool, but I actually just disagree with it from a game design perspective. Can we make it possible to know? Yes, please. 155,000%. I think we are long overdue for a cosmetics tab overhaul. It is getting so cluttered now, right? Like we have custom things for all sorts of random shit now, right? Like they got flasks, we still, like, they still have not made portraits, right? There is a tab for portraits. There's no such thing as a portrait. Why does this exist, right? And now, yeah, there's cursors now. You get your pets. There's one for, like, and the flask has to be, like, in that slot. There's an amulet now. You still got these stupid apparitions that I hate. I think they're super ugly and annoying. It's so messy now, and they need to... I think we need an overhaul here, right? So, like, the feedback from that Reddit post is that, like, when you mouse over invisible buff effect, you can't tell. Here, let me move myself over here. When you mouse over invisible buff effect, it doesn't tell you what this is, right? So I have to undo it. Oh, that's my Defiance banner. Okay, well, turn on the buff effect again. And similarly, like, I really want, like, a reclaim all, because if you have, like, golem skins and you have it, like, on a flame golem on this character and a stone golem on this character, it's gonna end up being, like, yeah. And so, like, yeah, this whole MTX tab, super messy. I think there was another Reddit post, I don't know if I opened it up, for asking for a wardrobe, something like that. I think the MTX system is getting really, really unwieldy, and it definitely needs some sort of overhaul. Hey, maybe PoE too. Training early acts feels like playing roguelike game. It's amazing how different the attempts are. I thought this was really cool. What this person did is they kind of reflected on the experience of doing, you know, going through the acts as, like, each act as an individual, like a run in a roguelike, right? Like, you're doing your Hades run. This is my Act 1 Hades run. This is, this is my, Act 1 through 5 Katava run. And I think that's a really, it touches on a lot of, like, how I've always talked about it, right? My eyes got opened up a lot by watching Tai Killer do his runs. Like, I got way better at leveling just by watching him play, right? I had the same initial feelings that everyone else, often does. Where they're like, I hate the camp. Oh my God, the campaign sucks. And then, like, you hear about, the speedrunners just doing reps after reps after rep. And you're like, man, that sounds awful. But then you boot up Hades or Slay the Spire or Binding of Isaac or something. And then you just do run after run after run. And if you have that mindset and you have that attitude going into it, it really changes the way that you think about it, right? Like, I'm just doing a Merveil run, right? And see if I can get under 20 minutes. And you just keep getting better. You time yourself. And it's so totally changes, right? How you think about it and your approach to it. And you get so much better for it. I really believe, like, as a game player, especially as someone who tries to, be pretty good at games, it's really about your attitude and your process. And being able to, like, be very critical of yourself and the way that you think about it. I find, like, a lot of what people complain about, especially in Path of Exile, often boils down to something where it just an attitude shift, right? And a different approach and a different way of thinking about it. Like, a very good friend of mine who, like, actually one of my friends that got me into playing PoE, he would always level. Like, I would max have 2 characters, absolute max. I would hate the campaign, it would take me like 15 hours plus. Absolutely hated it. And he would have 10 plus characters every single league. And he would just, like, he's like, all right, play this character for a week, time to make a new one. And he would just always be doing it. And, especially after watching Tai play and, making it like it's really in getting better at it and looking at it as, like, the campaign as its own game, right? Acts 1 through 10, that's its own game. I'm not playing the end game anymore. I'm just, I'm not thinking about trading. I'm not thinking about mapping or, my boss progression or anything. I'm just like, I'm going to play till Katava, right? And like, I view the campaign as much more like, I'm just playing, like, that old school feel of, like, playing Mario Brothers or something where I'm just going to play a few levels again. And I like that attitude shift. Last week on the first episode of the series that we've been doing for a very long time, of the weekly recap, we saw that these folks had, look at this, they opened 83,000 stacked decks. They're sharing with Poor Fishwife and the Prohibited Library all of the information, and they're gathering all that data. And they have continued, and they have now opened 122,840 stacked decks. And the big Giga Chad insane thing that they did was they recorded every single card. This blows my... This is like... Not only did they like... They're not only just paying attention to like the big boy cards. This is the number nerd thing. Every single card out of 122,000. I think this is incredibly interesting. Incredibly interesting. 3 House of Mirrors, 4 Hive of Knowledge, Great Intentions, Love Through Ice, Fiend, Unrequited Love, and then a bit more common. Where's Doctor, actually? They got 13 Doctors. Way more common than... Oh, look at that. Very, 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 very cool. Just like I was talking about, I would love a wardrobe. Anything. The MTX is getting unwieldy. This is out of control, right? Like, I can't. Every time I want to do my MTX, this just turns into an absolute pain in the ass. Next, I need help. What is the longest...
Oh, pew, pew, pew.
So this person... Yeah, this was just... It was just great. This is the most Path of... Here's your Global 1 Path of Exile experience. I've been playing hardcore for years. And I like the lore. But in this league, I tried a different approach. I started writing erotica, mostly Silk with Aracali. There have been some serious bangers, and I even use safer words like schlong, busty flaps, and cavity. I still got chat banned a few times. The last one was for 200 hours, so I need your help to figure out what the longest chat ban is. Next league, I'd like to try some other character. But I feel I might get banned for 500 hours, and then I won't be able to share my creations in Global 1. I've tried more family-friendly approaches, using words such as fornicating, tunnels of love, and sometimes even metaphors. Are there any experienced folks that could tell me which words to avoid? Or am I just getting reported? Yeah, the answer is the longest you get permanent banned. There's a perma ban. There's Path of Exile. Perfect. Can we see witness progress on the map device? You know, the little circles here showing the progress. Please, I would love that. That'd be great. Showcasing the power of corrupted items and recombinators. So this is the ultimate Giga Chad, where not only do you take a ridiculous recombinated item that already has power charges, frenzy charges, perfect omni bases, but then you recombinate it insane other items that are corrupted, and you get the strongest items in the history of Path of Exile. This is taking it even more to the next level. I mean, this is the stuff that people were talking about as soon as we started seeing the crazy stuff, but this is how far it can go. So crazy. Do not buy, this is just a little PSA, do not buy unidentified grasping males. They don't know how the 100% global defenses works. We had someone in chat last week, you know, they spent the exalts on just a random grasping male. They spent like 9x or something. And then they said, hey, I'm running out of currency trying to roll global defenses on the grasping male. And then everyone in chat went, ooh, oh, no, that's not how it works. Grasping males come with the mod, but not always. It must be identified. It is a random drop. That is how they work. So, PSA. So this was posted 6 hours ago when I opened the tab, and it already had a bunch of upvotes. Yeah, look at that, 842 upvotes in 10 hours. Like this is blowing up. Very, very cool. I you know, any more exposure to the game, especially, you know, particularly from non-ARPG audiences, is always good for us. People got upset, and I think it's funny. I love that people's creativity starts to get, you know, stoked, and people start tossing out ideas. The downside is, if you ever put out a really good idea, GGG has explicitly said, if you suggest something, they will not do it, because they want everything that they come up with to be their own idea. But there were like 4 or 5 posts with different ideas for just replica tabulas. There were so many. But I thought that was really, really funny. Some of them were better than others. There were like 3 posts in the top past week about unique weapons being kind of bad. And yeah, true, right? I think weapons in particular, they're in like a real weird spot. We have so many other slots that do unique things that are build enabling and do crazy, crazy stuff. The problem with having too much power on a weapon, right? Like it's this weird thing where like too much power on a weapon it's at the risk of just like turning straight mandatory, right? The base way that most weapons work is that they just do a lot of fizz damage or a lot of elemental damage, and they have varying attack speeds, right? And that's like most of the stuff that is unique about a weapon. And if any of like at any risk, like they can put a lot of unique, interesting, weird things on a weapon, but like if the damage is too high, then like even if the unique, weird stuff isn't build enabling, that weapon becomes mandatory. Like rares in terms of damage, like have to always be higher, basically for them to ever be used versus like unique weapon that has too much damage, right? And yeah, it's just like this it's real hard. It's real hard to balance, right? And definitely they're not in a good place right now, but I'm not sure what the 100% answer is right now. And I think this is the right call. Until you understand how far it can be pushed, maybe err on the side of being a little too weak, instead of like an instant mandatory item that would like outperform everything. It is just due to the design of how weapons work in Path of Exile. And it's like, it is a very hard thing to balance. To all the Nerf Ashes Andes, why would even want to run bosses without that loot? You are asking GGG, to Nerf, the only good uniques we have. Remember one day's Starforge good weapon. Once they nerf something, item dead forever. Don't ask Nerf, ask old item rework. Remember gloves? Starforge Saver. Dub Nerf. Lore Wave. Calm Heart. Reach Council Bow. So many items dead. So sad. Very, very eloquent of you there. So regarding, we're all Sag. Everyone's Sag in chat. In the world where we have recombinated amulets, I think Ashes is like fine, actually. Before this league, Ashes was so much better. Not even counting the rare, how common Ashes was last league, but like what it allowed you to do versus how hard it was to roll a good rare amulet. It was too good, right? Last league, it was like, if you could use Ashes in your amulet slot, you were literally drooling on the keyboard, your smooth brain pouring out of your ears, crashing into walls. You know, you gotta wear a helmet and like a full padded suit when you try to go downstairs because you have so few brain cells in your head that you don't even know how to like hold onto the guardrail and like move your arms and legs at the same time. Like you had that few brain cells in your head, right? However, this league, with recombinated amulets, you can make, without too much effort, something very, very competitive and for certain builds better than an Ashes. And with the rarity of Ashes and the power of how easy it is to make a really good rare amulet, I think it's, the question is like, does GGG think that power level should be attained, right? No, the answer might be no. But I think it's fine, right? I actually think it's really fine. Whereas like Ashes is the unique option where you actually sacrifice, right? Like you don't get good defenses on it. You don't get defenses on Ashes. You don't get resistances on Ashes. You get really bad stats on Ashes. You only get the implicit, right? And whereas with a rare amulet, you can go for +1/+1, 20% energy shield, 50% malevolence reservation efficiency. So you can also get some good reservation efficiency and some stats and some res, right? Like rare amulets that you can make today are pretty competitive. So I think it's okay right now. It is time for GGG to make a move and get rid of mystery boxes. I'm 100%. I'm against mystery boxes. I'm against gambling in games and all that garbage. The gambling can be, I'm putting my div card into the harvest, not which MTX am I going to get. Way better now with the not being able to get duplicates anymore. But they basically made it so you can still get duplicates, right? We still have multiple of just reskins. Like the fact that I could just get chromas of the same thing. I'm never going to use more than one of these at a time, right? Like, ick. Oh, cool. I got the different charges. They made it a little bit better, but... announcements. The expansion timeline. So we did get this news 2 days ago. They announced that the 3.19 expansion will be August 12th. There we go. And of course, they teased with a little picture of a boat. You ain't baiting me with no boats anymore. I know it's not going to be a boat league. Don't you even try. Don't you even try, Bex. I see what you're doing. absolutely insane Ashes double corrupt. +1 all red, like literally got the perfect one, and it's 1-off perfect on the experience gain. This person has now made the best Ashes of the Stars in the history of Ashes of the Stars. Congratulations, and thank you. One of the best recombinator items I've ever done by far. Love it. It is a 6 fracture piece of garbage, and it's beautiful. Big respect. Big respect for the 6 mod piece of garbage. Well done. Well done. Congratulations. So they did do this. This was 14 hours ago. They released a patch. So now all of the Timeless Jewel stuff is in there. If you want to filter and look for specific things, enjoy. You now have the tool for searching and having the all of the weighted search UI for finding the Timeless Jewel that you might be looking for. Enjoy it while you can. We have no idea if GGG is going to keep this. I mean, if I was GGG, based on what I understand to be the intended design for Timeless Jewels, there's supposed to be a Divine Orb sync. There's supposed to be discovery. They're supposed to be like kind of unique and interesting. If I had to bet if they were going to change it or not, I would 100% be betting that they were going to change it. So if you want to enjoy this stuff, enjoy it right now. I wanted to leave this one last. Our friend here, Revan, who is a member here in the community, has one of the top posts for 3 days ago showing off one of their beautiful hideouts. And I thought this was, I thought they did a great job. I think Revan's been putting their hideouts in the MTX and hideouts channel as well. Yep. So if you want them, Revan is sharing them in the MTX and hideouts channel in the Discord as well. So very, very cool. It's a Revan's been designing really clean themed, nice little hideouts, and I've been enjoying to see what they've been making recently. So definitely check this out. Really, really cool. You can download the hideout and import it and do all that. Yeah. That's one of the cool things about Path of Exile, right? Is one of the end games is just decorating and making your own hideouts. And just what do you want to do? Well, I grinded 300 bosses yesterday. What did you do? I made this sick ass hideout. So yeah, thus concludes
when I'm ready and
the second episode of our recurring segment of Subtractem's weekly, always on time, everlasting series of the weekly news recap for Path of Exile.